Hey, what's up, people? We back at it, man. Live your dream, man. Living it up during these holidays, man. Staying afloat, Today I want to talk to you guys about mental health. Now, mental health is equivalent to physical health. If you constantly exercise mentally, your thought process will work efficiently. Globally, humans suffer from some type of mental disorder, big or small. Acknowledging the fact or not acknowledging it. Show me a person who doesn't have some sort of mental disorder, and in that person, you can say is perfection. I'm not saying every human is SMI, I'm merely stating facts. Now, statistically, the numbers are different. Every human does not or want it acknowledge the fact that they may be mentally sick. It's just saying that a person is mentally ill and then or being diagnosed with a mental illness and a person just going through every day. Now, um, I'm not saying everyone is severely mentally ill, which is SMI. I'm saying we all suffer from some type of mental telepathy, man. We all suffer from some type of mental thing that we go through, whether it's OCD, um, schizophrenic. And no, I'm not saying schizophrenic is SMI, but we all had schizophrenic traits at one point of time. Like, for instance, and this just is an example. Some people say, "Oh, don't stand behind me." That's a sign of schizophrenia, So, um, it's mentally challenging for a woman to go through birth. So to say after birth you didn't have no type of mental breakdown or to go that's a mental illness that you went through because of that. Like, what is it? Post traumatic. I think it's what is it? Post traumatic after syndrome. I think Um, Yeah, and as I talk more about it with people about mental health, these days and times, a lot of people everywhere is going through stuff here and abroad, not just here in America, but throughout the world. It's mental health, man. Just our mind, the stuff that we go through. Just having to have to go through whatever a person goes through, whether it be relationships or relationships with another human being that you've been through, relationships with your children. That's a mental health. And for people to say, for a person, if you find a person that says, "Oh, I'm fine," you don't have no mental sickness or no mental trauma that you go through in life, then whoa, that's kind of awesome. It's nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, if we acknowledge our mental states and just from going through the things that we go through, whether you can lose a job, man, and that can place you in a mental situation. That can that mentally affects a person going through school. What from a child all the way up to a person stops going to school. Those have mental effects on a person, and for people, it bothers me. Like I said, I dialogue with a lot of people. Like today, I was talking with a person, and person was telling me that they were okay mentally. They don't go through nothing. Then once I broke it down, so I said, you don't have no mental issues. You don't think about you don't think about your rent being paid. You don't think about your car bill. You don't think about your kids. That's all mental. And some people think about all these things and more, to the point to where they go through anxiety. Remind you guys, anxiety is a mental breakdown. To whatever degree, it still is a mental breakdown, man. And whether we've been diagnosed with a mental illness is the same thing of a person being diagnosed with a mental illness. And some of us think Oh, I ain't never been mentally, I'm not mentally ill. I don't have no issues. I don't go through nothing. Well, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, you strong minded. But at the same time, even psychiatrists, who is there for a psychiatrist? So we might have counselors and psychiatrists that we speak to, but at the same time, they have stuff that they go through because stuff get overwhelming for them. And it's shown throughout the stuff that we go through, whether it's you see judges are faced with situations in cases. That's a mental, it starts everything starts with the mind. It takes a mind to think of some of the things that people go through, like school teachers. School teachers, a woman or a man that end up messing with a child. That's a mental breakdown. Now, whether we've been diagnosed with these issues is one thing, but for people to say that they don't have no mental issues, I beg to differ. And rather, it might not be statistics that's proven that, but at the same time, like even OCD, and OCD is so wide. It's not just about how you need things to be, or you want to fix this, or this has to be a certain area. It's so wide. It's so wide range. OCD can be forms of a whole bunch of things. I'm not going to go through it in this broadcast, but bear with me. I can share more with you, and I'm open for dialogues for anything that I speak about, anything that I share. I'm open for dialogue, man. We can converse about anything that I speak about, and I do my research as you should. That what I speak about, and I can prove to you and whoever else, the viewers and whoever else that wants to have a conversation about what I'm speaking about. But as far as hit the like button and subscribe. But as far as mental health, man, you get a president of any country, you get a minister of any country, they need mental health. They need mental health. You exercise mental health. They have mental issues. Whether they want to talk about it or whether they do talk about it, it's something going on in our mentals. It's something going on in our mind, man. It's at any given time, like people have shootings, and a lot of people aren't diagnosed with being mentally ill, but yet they have, whether terrorists, they become where they bomb themselves, or people have these mass shootings and they say, oh, he was mentally ill or she was mentally ill, or they probably wasn't diagnosed at a time, but something drove them to that point. And that's in every one of us. So just understanding the mental health and the mental state of the people we're living in, like for depressions or recessions, that alone causes people to go through something mentally, losing their job, losing their home. So you can't say you losing all these things and you're just fine. You're just everything is just peachy. I'm not going through nothing. I'm not thinking of nothing. I'm not, like that's mental health. Whether it be anxiety, whether it be, and then bipolar, what the traits of bipolar. People have that. If think about it, people are different depending on the areas they are in. Like some people don't go around different things, but some people are different. You like people say, for instance, they have alter egos. What do you think that's what do you think that's bipolar? If you have an alter ego, that means you transform it into someone else in order to be someone else. If you have an alter ego, and most people they would say they have an alter ego. But yeah, man, mental health these days is big, man, and it's big, man, and for people that's diagnosed with mental illnesses, they need help. They need help, man. Like at an alarming rate. And for those that saying that they don't have no mental illnesses, they need help as well. They need help just for the fact that they saying nothing's wrong with them mentally. Because we get tired. Like you can get tired and that causes a mental health. Just being tired, just being exhausted, just being tired to the point where you need to sit down, because a lot of us, we run ourselves in trying to achieve the things that we dream of, the things that we want for our kids, for ourselves, and our relationships. So, and all this is mental health. This is mental health. This is mental health. So no matter how strong of a person you may know, you might be like, oh yeah, my dad, my mom, my grandmother, oh they never been diagnosed with mental health. They don't have no issues. Well, if you sit down with them and if they break down and really tell you about themselves, they would tell you it's been times where they have anxiety attacks. Now, is it anxiety is that a mental state? Depression. We all at one point in life felt depression. That's a mental state. Now, to say that a person is severely mentally ill, now that's a different story. To to grade it, I don't know statistics on severely mentally ill diagnosis, but some mentally ill it's worse than others. But for us as humans to say that we don't suffer from no, especially in the black race, for us to say that we don't suffer from no mental illnesses just because we're not diagnosed with a sickness, that don't mean we're okay. Especially, like I said, especially being a black woman, and then a black person just in general. And then if you have kids, like I said earlier, hit the like button and subscribe. Then if you have kids, hell yeah, you cannot the person may be that they don't have a, like, for instance, that's a mental sickness to say, at if you were a parent, or if you was a person, to say that Santa Claus fell down the chimney and is going to give your kids gifts, whether you want to say, oh, it was just for the kids or something. That proves there is something mental, not saying that it's bad. However, that's a mental illness. That's a mental, yeah, because a lot of times not only are we expressing these falsehoods, but once upon a time we were believing that. So to believe that and to carry that on and on and on, and then, yeah, of course, once we break it down, or you break it down, but at the same time, these are mental illnesses, man. These are mental, and not to say mental illness, it's not a bad thing. The bad thing is when people say we don't have, or I don't have no mental illness or no mental sickness. I'm 100% fine. So that 9 months for a woman. So for that 9 months, you didn't go through thoughts of nothing with the child you bear. For that, however many minutes, or however many minutes you went through child labor, you didn't go through nothing. And for the man, for men, you, to feed your family, you didn't go through no type of anxiety or no type of thought process, or the times when you wasn't working, you didn't go through no type of thought process when you couldn't feed your family, or just for anything. The tire in your car, the tire on your car got flattened. You didn't go through nothing mentally. It wasn't no anxiety kicked in, no depression, no nothing. Or debit cards, or credit cards. When you couldn't pay your bill on your credit cards, there was no type of anxiety you faced, no type of depression you faced. No type of no mental, no, like, that's mental health. That's like your body. When you run, it's like your body on the physical health. If you do too much and you're not getting the proper sleep, your body is naturally gonna sit you down, or you're gonna have to sit down, or your muscles are gonna ache. So you can't say, oh yeah, I'm perfectly fine, when you have to sit down. You have to take a break. Hit that like button and subscribe, man, and just this mental health thing that we face, this mental health crisis that we face, man, is for real. And in order for us to, get a hold of it, we have to come to the recognition of we all need help, man. We all need help in one way or the other. And in order for us to help each other, we have to start listening to each other. We have to start, being that lending ear for each other, because you never know who needs that lending ear. Sometimes what people don't realize in this mental crisis that we're going through, we don't know how much sometimes we be valuable to psychiatrists. You can be a psychiatrist patient, but if you're going in there and sharing them a little bit about your story, you don't know what you gave your psychiatrist, because psychiatrists even suffer from mental illness. Think about it. You mean to tell me these people, man or woman, they see people all day, and listen to their stories and nothing happens? That's a hell of a human being to be able to listen to a person's story and don't feel oohed or odd or even shed a tear. So for you to shed a tear and it's being genuine, that means you went through something, you're going through some type of thing mentally as well. And then not only that, so what, a psychiatrist, a man or woman, they're not married, or they're not going through marital issues, or they're not going through their mortgage not being paid, or their credit card declining, yeah, and they might have money, but at the same time, they might be going through whatever they're going through, or they might be in birth, or they're, the inflation, or that the inflation might have caused them some type of, heartache, headache, so for all of us, man, hit that like and subscribe button, man. I can't stress that enough, man. Like, just hear me out, man, and try to, like I said, man, I'm open for any dialogues on any subject that I speak, and if I don't know about it, I will do the research about it. But like for instance, Jewish people. You mean to tell me Jewish people, whether they have money, multi-millions or not, they don't suffer from, past trauma that they went through, today? Yeah, they might see their people, or they might have experiences, or they talk to their people. That stuff is all mentally innocent. Like I said, it's not a bad thing to go through something mentally. It's not a bad thing to be mentally ill. Why isn't it bad? Because we go through things as human that sometimes is overwhelming for us. So if it's overwhelming for us, then hey, man, it's nothing we can do but take it in the head, take it on the shoulder, and continue to push. But it be some type of traumatic experience for us, man. Hit that like button, man, and man, just subscribe, man, and just understand where I'm coming from. Like I said, mental health and mental awareness, it's not a bad thing, man. It's especially in the times we live now, which is social media. Social media alone can have us or lead us into feeling some type of way. Say, for instance, or we're not getting the likes that we deserve, we should get. That takes us into another place in itself. Not for kids, for us as adults too, because we want likes. And think about the stuff people are going through for likes. That's a mental health crisis that one is going through within themselves. Or for instance, people out of boredom, or validation or whatever, jumping on social media outlets. And there's nothing wrong with social media outlets, but at the same time, we must recognize it for what it is, because we see time and time that people are committing suicide and homicide due to social media. Hit that like button and subscribe, man. This is a nice subject, man, and I can go on and on. And like I said, I'm open for dialogue, and man, just share, man. Live your dream and stay positive.